and that's Betty, and that's Arky, and I don't have the foggiest idea who that child is.
Probably the neighbors.
Well, I don't know if they're gonna.
Looks like one of our grandchildren.
I swear it, look, this little one here, well, Jamie and Sean too.
They're both favorite both.
I mean, just exactly.
And it's true.
Especially that
you gotta
grin.
Stand still, stand
No,
still.
you get your baby pictures, you can't tell the difference.
Now, this is the other side of my family. That's my aunt, who we call Annie, and that's my father's only sister. And she's.
Well,
very
Will, what
close
do you
to all
got?
of
You
us,
got
and
a
that's Betty,
GE,
Arky,
I got
and
a,
that's Betty. Now,
Quasar.
Like I say, that's precious.
Well,
that's
they're
Will
just
Tom
good.
Clay.
That's it?
That's Will Tom Clay.
What?
Yeah, and I said, what's so funny about it is this is a professional picture, and look at the photo in front of him. I think I would have tried to zoom in a little.
Yeah.
This is the
And,
one I tell you
point
about,
out
that's
that-
the only picture I
Let's
got of
talk
that.
about that. Where is that little
That's the
boy?
one that's
Yeah,
truck
that's the
off
one
that.
that's the Juanita has.
William Earl.
Mhm.
I mean,
That's,
it just looks
that
like
come out of
Jim- it looks
Anna.
like Jim Claude.
Huh?
Just Jim
picture
Claude
here.
and his boys.
I'd say he's
they
a
go-
clay, he's got clay blood in him, cause he looks. Yeah, that's, you all seen this one, that's the only one I have.
That's a good
Oh, I
one though.
love that picture. That's such a handsome,
Dusty.
he's such a handsome
Well,
man.
What is that thing?
That's the one
It
that
almost
Juanita
looks like a
Blair
tin-
had.
That's the one that's the one Paul there, some of them got in a flea market car.
Okay, I think the tintype that I had was a tintype made around that
Yeah.
one
Just
picture.
pull down.
I think so.
There's Uncle Bert before he got to see when I knew him,
Did
he
you notice the
graded
background of that? It's
and
real
I never
awesome.
did know, of course, never did know Anna. And Mr. Knapp and Mrs. Knapp,
Uncle Bert.
Uncle Bert Willis. Yeah, yeah, that's old man Willis, you know, you set up theater.
You were what,
big
you
fat
asked
man
what his
and
last
old
name,
theater.
first name was, William Earl, and I
He
said I
was,
didn't
but
know.
he was real paunchy and
What
big,
was
I
it?
was like.
Uncle
Bert.
Bert. Uncle Bert.
And that's Annie.
Now that's
She
his wife.
favored, yeah, that was Annie Willett, and she and Anna, got his first wife, were sisters.
Uh-huh.
They had a little girl, Marjorie Sue, that died 18, 19 months or something. She was sickly ever since birth. Shortly after she died, or maybe her mother died first.
Her mother died first.
Mother died first, then Marjorie Sue died. And so we've got a little half sister.
That's why I ain't never did want,
Guys,
when I was pregnant with Jim Claude, oh,
'Cause
she
that was-
cried
that's a good
every
photograph.
time.
Yeah, I think that's the
Didn't do
original.
to go around her, and I mean, live
And that's
just
one
a
that
house
Annie
between us
had.
and all, but I just never,
Well, that's Mr.
because
and
every
Mrs.
time
Knapp.
I'd see her,
That's Mr.
she
and
would
Mrs. Knapp,
cry and
yeah.
all, and say she was afraid something was gonna happen.
Who was that?
Annie Willett.
See,
Oh,
he was
really?
he was a court reporter in Buffalo, New York. And Annie married him, and he was supposed to be the fastest court reporter. I forget how many words of shorthand he could take a minute. He was real good. Supposed to be, well, he's the best in New York.
Now they go like a breeze with
Yeah,
a machine.
and then he came down here. See, he worked up at
That's
university in
right.
the office, business office, till he retired.
You won't hear anything. You have to show me which ones I sent you. Because I get copies
I
made.
can put one.
I have no idea
his
how old he was. I don't even know
grandfather and
if it's a date on that
grandmother
picture. I
or
don't even know when it was
something, I
taken.
Okay, so I sent you all a
That's
copy
good,
of
Mhm.
That's good
Sue
picture.
Hill Clay
Yeah.
It's an excellent.
and E.L. Clay.
I guess.
That's a good picture of all of them. You can see the family resemblance. Oh,
I'm
Annie.
glad it is.
I
When
love
Anna
that.
died, she died.
Look at that
Look
little
at
dress.
where we are now,
Oh,
like
that
my
is
boy.
precious.
I didn't know her, but of course
Oh,
Annie and Uncle Bert. I always call them Annie and
Pretty
Uncle Bert. Oh, John and Dick
Yes,
did.
yes.
And I never did know the difference. I was, of
I
course,
really
they wasn't
didn't know
kin to
Uncle
me.
Tom,
but there was
he
John and
died
Dick's son.
before I was born.
Yeah,
All
I've
right,
heard
after I was
Jimmy
born.
talk about him.
Well, I think all of those men were pretty sweet guys. Look at his little stuffed dog.
Yeah.
That was back in the Ellen days. Now that's got a funny background too.
Uh-huh.
Well, now, that's the front porch of the old Ferguson thing.
That's right. And Will Tom was the tallest boy.
Mm-hmm.
The other boys were not all that tall. Jim wasn't tall,
And
nor
she was married to him.
And she was married to him. She came into Tyler, and she wouldn't tell anybody about her background. And she chopped about 10 years off her age, at best 5. Hinted her hair. You know, she had t-shirt
Well, Mary,
red
take
hair,
that and send me back a copy.
and you just hinted her hair,
You
and
ain't
she
took real
talked
big,
type
you
in
keep
and
that, take that.
shorthand down at the courthouse.
I have
That's
no
the only place
idea
where they had
about
a typing skill. And she met up with him,
Well, thanks.
and she was
you
older
just
than
put
Will
that in
Tom.
your
by a good long
And
money,
you lose.
money set. And she told Uncle Will Tom if she ever caught him catting around on her, she's gonna kill him. So Uncle Will Tom called my mother Noni, and he came down the house, which was 2 houses away from where he was, on Ferguson. And he said, Noni, I'm real worried. He says, I think Paulette's gonna kill me. Paul's gonna kill me. And she said, why is that, Uncle Will Tom? And he said, because she said if she ever caught me catting around, she's gonna do me in. That I'd better never ever cat around on her. And she said I didn't even bother to ask him whether he had catted around, because I figured since he was in fear of his life, he had.
Yeah, man.
And he gotten caught. And she said about 4 days later, Uncle Will Tom ran out on the front porch, holding his throat and gasping for breath. And sent one of the black people that worked for him down the street to get my mother. And my mother came running down there, and she said by that time he was already laying down on the front porch of the house, and he wasn't able to speak, and then he was dead in just a matter of minutes. And I said, well, Money, if you thought she did him in, why didn't you do something about it? She said, you don't talk about family. You don't accuse family. I said, boy, my name is Paulette Clay Bothwell, and I was named after that Paulette.
Yeah.
But she was a good-looking woman. She had real bad crippling arthritis, and her hands were all gnarled,
Well, that's just a copy of this,
and her
isn't it?
knees were real bad.
No,
She couldn't
it's,
stand up on her own, so
Huh?
they flew her over to Dallas and had braces for her legs.
99, deed book, page 2,
Okay, Jim, here's Jimmy.
94. Yeah,
Jim,
94, get you, huh?
here's Jimmy Do.
Yeah, I haven't, yeah, Jim do have a big wide spot between his teeth, the clay wide spot, and,
But he's a good-looking young
oh,
man.
I mean, they, oh, yeah, I haven't, of course, that's, I don't know when the last time, I had a letter or something from him, and it seemed like it was Madisonville, Madisonville, Indiana. He wrote me once around there, right after the war, or right doing, and wanted me to find out something, and that's the last I ever heard from him. But he was over in Indiana then. I believe it was Madison, Indiana.
Well, I met him in Louisville
Yeah.
with his wife Hazel, and they came down there when I was on the way to Nazareth, which is right outside
Yeah,
Bardstown.
yeah.
And Jimmy Do and his wife Hazel came up to Aunt Elizabeth's on Galt Street. And we sat around and visited with each other, and I remember being kind of struck by the fact, now that was during an era where women very definitely waited on the man, and there was no sharing of your responsibilities. That's just the way it was, because most women didn't work outside the home. And Aunt Elizabeth was always sickly, all the years that I knew. And I was kind of curious because she got up out of her sick bed to take care of Jimmy Do. And I thought, gee, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. He needs to be helping her.
Get over here.
I know she,
I'm gonna draw a picture.
All right, get right up here.
I wanna
They
draw
moved
a
her daddy.
car.
Right
she
there.
always wanted him buried up here in the
No,
Lee
no,
Harris
he just
cemetery
wants-
instead of Mount Sterling.
Yes.
She finally got him moved back. They moved him back here 12, 15 years ago, before she died. She kept hacking and whacking at it, and finally they all said, we don't care. So she had him disinterred down Mount Sterling, brought back up Morehead, so she could be buried next to him.
who's that?
Literally.
Elizabeth, but it's been more than 15 years.
Well, it's
More than
been-
15 years.
Way back, time slips by on me, but I know she never rested. Just a while before she died, she finally, I guess that was her life's damn thing. She finally got them all. They finally dug him up and brought him back up here and buried him at Pine Hill.
Well, was Nell up there already?
No.
I don't know.
Nell Miller?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because she's resting next to him now. Because his tombstone says, here lies a man, and then hers says, and here lies this fair lady. Is that what it says?
Yeah, his
Something
fair
like that.
lady or something.
That dog's.
So I'd
dog's
say,
to high heaven.
But that's the same picture again. My grandmother jumped in and helped Will Young on his defense.
yeah.
And I never knew they said in one of these write-ups that the reason why was because they had threatened his life. One of the feuding factions that threatened his life, he was involved in the beach, first Judge Hargis. Judge Hargis, my mother says, was the man who organized all the hits in the feud. And he went on trial for murder. And Will Young defended him. And she finished the trial because they were threatening Will Young's life. And I thought, well, they obviously not threaten her life. Then right after that, Judge Hargis's son, Beach, came into his mercantile store and shot him dead in front of everybody there. And the widow called my grandfather and said, Will, I want you to come and defend Beach. He's killed his dad. He's killed the judge. And my dad said, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Judge Hargis was my friend. I just can't do it. And she said, well, he's all I got left. And you're the only person I can count on. So he said, well, Archie will do it. So they sat as co-counsel
Yeah.
at the table. But she did the defense of Beach Hargis and got him off. And in just almost no time at all, he was dead.
Is that your mom?
That's my grandmother.
Your grandmother? She was a lawyer?
Yes, she was a criminal lawyer.
Okay.
And she practiced with Will Young,
Oh,
her husband.
Well, she must have
Did you
been
see
one
that
of the
picture?
youngest women
Oh,
lawyers in
here,
the
huh?
United States.
She was the first.
No, I get over that.
That's easy to take a man.
The very
You
first.
run yourself dead.
Yeah, she showed me the one where she
First in
told
Kentucky,
her.
I know.
Oh,
But she's a good looking woman.
Now, what was your mother's name again?
Lenora.
Lenore.
Now you be sure remember that in case Jim needs it.
Okay.
And we were in Waxahachie, and I got out and took a picture of this house because it so reminded me of the Clay house. Clay had a porch up over the pointy front, the way so many of them did. And Aunt Paulette, or Aunt Paul as they called her, would come out her front door every morning, and she had a rocking chair right here. And the maid would help her let down her braces she had to wear on her legs because of her arthritis. She had crippling arthritis. And she'd sit there every morning, I don't care how hot it was, how cold it was. Aunt Paulette was sitting on that porch. And people would go by and say, good morning, Miss Clay, or good morning, Miss Paulette, and she'd greet them all. Then Savannah would come out and get her, straighten out her leg braces, help her up,
Jackson.
take her back in inside
Jackson.
for
Jackson,
lunch and a
Kentucky,
rest.
yeah.
Well, you know, we went
Back out by 3.
to see
But this looks the most.
Ernest
They tore
Lewis.
down the Clay house.
the other day up
Oh.
Wrigley,
And so
Yeah.
this looks the closest
and he said he
to
remembered this,
the Clay house that I've ever seen.
and that he
except
thought
there
it was up at
fish
Jackson.
pond right
Yeah.
out
So he was right
there,
on.
which I bet
Yeah,
Jim
yeah.
remembers because
There's
I
the,
noticed that back up there, that's all, there's still back lawyers up there. In fact, one of them is judge back now. I just went up the other day, special judge, his boy had the 3rd offense DUI, and Judge back disqualified himself because it was his son. They sent me up for a special judge. And Bill back and I are great buddies. In fact, we went to law school together, and Bill flunked out the first semester and didn't come back the next semester. And then after I graduated from law school, some 2 or 3 years later, Bill decided and went back and got his degree after I did. But we started in together. He and I are old friends from way back from I'm thinking about 51. And that's where I first got to know Judge Bill back, who's the present district judge up there. And I know sorry for a judge back was a lawyer, but there's been a back attorney in Jackson.
around here for a long
yeah,
time.
Yeah.
yeah, Jason.
Well, how did you find? What'd you do with the boy?
He and the county attorney had, one of them, they hadn't preserved the record, we call it. They hadn't advised him of his rights, and he didn't have an attorney when he pled guilty, so that didn't count as a prior offense. So we boiled it down to a second offense on one of them, and he pled guilty, and I fined him the amount of $500, no jail time.
No.
And we got it straightened out because, but they had pled, he and the county attorney had made an agreement the time I got there, which
I
I
still
okay,
think
put
you
on
need to
record.
go out there and make them pick up the beer cans on the roadside.
That's what I do here
think.
at home.
That's what it ought
I
to
was the one started that.
That's a good idea.
be. I'm all
And
for
the
it.
crown.
in the Episcopal Church.
Listen, I can pay for road.
Annie and all of them were
Trailers that I
Episcopalians.
bought in my time.
Anna, Lou, L-O-E-D, Lloyd. What's Anna's middle name? Lloyd Knapp?
Probably Anna Louise.
L-O-U, I guess so.
Thanks, Mammy.
I never know.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Jim, you've been at the Clay home in Tyler, and when they tore it down a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I took this picture in another small town in Texas because I thought it kind of
I think
resembled.
the
Yeah,
name was
it sure
Leeds.
is.
You're right.
Yeah,
And a lead snaps. what I
That's
think
right,
it
that's
was.
correct, L-E-E-D-S.
it must
See,
be
he
the
thinks it
family
looks
name,
like it too,
maiden
but-
name.
As I recall it, they didn't have the railing. They had the porch, but they didn't have the railing.
Yeah, they did have railings.
Oh, lives right down here on
Barber?
Alma Barber.
And on the
She
other
took some
side,
clippings.
it's squared
I
off,
have to
and
dig
that was
them
a
out,
full apartment.
Jimmy's
where,
dad,
all that turned into an
uh,
apartment.
And his first wife's clipping out of the paper and all.
You had it in there.
Yeah, I've got it. And told what church, I mean, there was pretty.
Or
long
just the
list.
wedding thing, what she wore and who was in
Yeah,
attendance,
about
and
her
those
being so
regular.
beautiful and
Well, that's
all.
flowery language in those days.
Yeah.
He described everything.
He'd had to cut the
And
barn,
then,
he had to cut the honeymoon short to go back to some trial he was on someplace, and I don't know.
Say Alma.
They traveled all over the country.
Alma
and been
Barbara
young
brought it
and-
up and gave it to Jimmy, said she was going through some things and found it. I don't know Deb.
See, the deal was that after later on, Allie
Allie.
got into politics. And the deal was that Dad and Bill and when they was right there in the young partnership before Bill got killed, the deal was that Dad and Bill done all the court work and Allie took care of the politics and was still a solid member of the partnership. And they split it up three ways, but he would attend to the politics of it. He would keep running for state senator, which he was 30-some years, he was state senator. And he had the coal company and the CNO, and that's where Dad got to be CNO lawyer. He farmed that out to Dad. Dad was the CNO lawyer, and they took all that. And Bill got killed, well, it was just Dad and Allie. And Allie would troop off and go on all these things, and Dad done all the work. Stayed in the office and ran the office, and that was. Then they finally got Hog and Hog, old man Lige Hog.
Yeah.
Not the Lige Hog you all know, but the old Lige.
No, I remember
And
that.
then it was Lige and it was Hog and Clay. Young Hog and Clay. And then Allie got out of it, and then it was Hog and Clay. And then I still got all a log, but I gave them to the fellow the other day to keep for me. I had somebody when I moved home, I couldn't bring them. But then Young and Clay and Young and Clay and just, the stickers on the outside of those old law books. But it was all.
I believe the other one clipping she sent out of the paper was when she died, and where did they take her back to bury her?
I don't remember.
She's over at Mount Sterling.
Okay, it was something they took her on the train, or,
Yeah, I guess they'd take her on a train them days. It
I don't know,
really
might know where they are.
have no highways to Mount anything.
Who are we talking about taking on the train?
And Liz.
Anna.
Oh.
Now.
I imagine they.
Well, they didn't have any roads in them. You get going to the city limit and your roads run out. You had dirt,
Pavement,
road,
yeah.
mud, and pavement was gone. Well, you got more.
I tell you what, I'll trade you all the Mexican recipe books I've got if you'll let me have one law book that's got Young and Clay on it.
Honey, I'll give you all you want.
I don't want a whole bunch. I'm trying to get rid of some now.
When you going home?
Wednesday.
Well, I'll have it for you. I'll go and get it the first thing in the morning.
She's thinking-
I let this young lawyer, rather than to store there, in all these wood cases, these old-fashioned cases,
Oh,
you
I
know,
love those.
and I didn't want to store them. Well, they're worth over $100 and some a section now. And I said, I will, you just keep them. And I said, anytime I want them, I'll come and get them, but you keep them, I'd rather you have them out in the open where they'll get iron. I had them sitting, I didn't have room for them in my office at the courthouse. 12 years, they've been across the hall in what we call the conference room over there. I had that room full. and it belonged to.
Well, you probably have an accumulation of all the
Oh,
different
hell, I've
wires.
got, yeah, I'll give you.
I didn't see what y'all were flipping around. It was at the actual
That-
wedding
That was
license,
just, yeah,
the real thing.
Dad and Ms. Knapp.
Look what she's got. After an ideal courtship.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you love that? Do we know what year this was? Okay, well, you got the date on the,
Yeah.
what year was
On
it?
the marriage.
I wonder what ideal courtship is.
One that you didn't get pregnant. That's ideal
I
courtship.
thought it was maybe a certain length of time.
And probably chaperoned, and,
I talking to a judge, the great, he defended all the governors and everything down
Left
There's
out
that
in
the
Frankfurt.
H. Left out the H.
Oh, he's gray haired now, very, very interesting gentleman. Hell, if I can't think of his name. Oh, what do call drove him all the time, chauffeured him, the lawyer that I went to law school with. Anyway, I ran across him the other day and he said, Lord God, he said, you remind me of your daddy. He said, I used to come, he said, you you couldn't beat Jim up in eastern Kentucky. And he said, every time I'd get a case up there, he said, first thing I'd do, I'd call your daddy and get him in on the case on my side to help me. And said he knew everybody. And said, went up there one time, he said, we were defending a fellow for murder up Sandy Hook. And he said, we was driving from Morehead to Sandy Hook. And he said, your dad would say, now see that tree down there? I said, this man his wife was out hoeing the garden. And said, he just walked up behind her and cut her throat with a knife. And said, she run clear up to this oak tree here on this hillside of the hill, and she fell over dead. And he said they had to smuggle him out of Sandy Hook that night. Said old man Green brought him out in his freight truck, transfer truck, in a big army greatcoat, got him down to jail at Morehead, and then they sent him on to Lexington, Mississippi. And he said, I defended him. And he said, we'd drive on a little bit. And he said, see that little house down there? I said, I defended a man for killing his son down there. And so on. And he said, I asked him one time, he said, Jim, he said, how many murder cases alone have you been in? And he said, well, over 1,000.
really?
Ooh, that's a heavy
And he
percentage.
said, I tell you, he said, he's the awfulest fellow I ever run across in my life. But he said, hell, said, I met him. He was one of the biggest prestigious law firms in Frankfurt. And he said, the minute we got anything, if somebody contact wanted us to come, well, he said, I called your daddy up there and sold him up so nobody else wouldn't get him. Oh, what is his name? Hell, he defends the governors and all of them every time they get in trouble. He advises them. And he's one of the biggest lawyers there is but he didn't have anything but praise for Dad.
Is he right there in Frankfurt, or?
Frankfurt,
Yeah.
Bill Johnson?
No, it's before Big Bill's time. He's an old gray hair, real big gray, but they call him the advisor to governors. He's always giving the governors advice, even though he didn't actually participate in. Oh, that's his.
Pritchard?
Was Pritchard, was it?
No, Pritchard's dead.
Pritchard's dead,
Now
yeah.
this guy's still alive now. Got a real big mane of white hair. Looks like an old time lawyer. Oh hell, I guess he's had some of the biggest. But they call him the advisor to governor. Hell, he advises them all. They go over to him.
I can't figure out.
He always said, I'll sold your dad up. He said, that's the first thing I'd do. He said, I'd call him and be sure I had him on my side. But he was talking, I'll tell you where I ran across him. I was coming back from Florida, and I pulled off to get a sandwich at Cave City, down the western end of the state. And he happened to come in, had his big limousine, his chauffeur. I'll think of his name in a minute.
Puppy.
Getting old, I can't think of nothing. Pardon me. Say, excuse me.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Gesundheit.
I think it's time a little boy went late.
No
down.
way.
What?
Now, don't tell me no way.
No way, Jose.
Good for you, Grandmama. We grandmoms have to stick together.
That's right.
Granddad was in the Confederate Army, but I don't know whether playing the drums or the pipe or what.
The music, huh? Field music.
Well, as far as I'm
E.L.
concerned, I think
Clay,
that shows
Robert
more
Bruce,
smarts than
Texas
someone.
International.
How many hours, whatever you put into this?
Well, he didn't keep track of it.
Well, I know it, but
Probably not more than a week. or so.
Enlisted in
You don't know.
February the 10th, 18, and
had a lot
6
of
in
fun doing
blank.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't seen it with that.
Tyler,
That's a Lenore thing.
Oh, okay.
12 months. Appointed band musician, March. I didn't know Clay could ever got hit a note on it. Did it?
James P. Clay, that's,
No, of course, Anarchy was supposed to be a gifted musician, wasn't she? A
Yeah,
piano-
she played the piano and was a soloist.
That,
She was
uh,
an contralto
The
soloist.
rest of them, I didn't know could even find high C.
Well, Ann Elizabeth was probably the most talented.
Who?
Ann Elizabeth Dusler.
Yeah,
She was a concert pianist.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
how
that's
she
right.
met Joe Harbaugh.
yeah.
She was a soloist,
Yeah, she played.
piano soloist. My mother
Robert
played the
B.
piano
R.B.
and my
Long's Company, Roberts Regimental of Texas Infantry. 20 years old.
What was he playing? Did it say? He honorably played his life.
Let's just say musician.
Muster in date February the 10th, 1862. Yes, dated over here. Tyler. 12 months enlistment.
Well, that bring tears to your eyes, wouldn't it?
Isn't that something? Those are wonderful clippings. I'd love to have
Texas,
copies of these.
November.
okay, I'll have, Linda or Tamaki,
That'd be wonderful.
Yeah,
I really would
I can
appreciate
take one
it.
and send it back.
okay.
Send a copy of this.
They really need to be
Well, I can
laminated.
Fly my
Well,
Confederate
that or what
flag
I
now.
do is that I
I've got a
put all
Texas
my stuff
flag
in
out there,
plastic
I
like
fly.
this,
Yeah.
and there is a
I
plastic
got that
that
put
doesn't
up
have
down
acid
this
in it.
time.
And I buy the ones that don't have acid in it, and I just slip things in.
What'd you
That
do
way I
with my
get 'em in
medallion
now.
I had here yesterday? I put it, laid it back up
Did
and
you
I
say you
about
wanted
ready.
these? And get 'em
Yeah, I
put-
get
Yeah, just put them back in this. And she, poor old thing, took those to the courthouse and Jimmy wasn't in. And
Alma's 90-some years old and just
I
trudging
saw her
around.
the other
She's
day,
all
just
the way up
happened to
here.
be helping.
Really?
She lives right
Got
after
a nice couple of
the
them.
street.
Been a little
Bless
while
her heart.
back, she went all the way up there with her. Of course, she didn't know poor old told her I was retired and she mailed it finally.
No, she left, it was just before you
Just
retired.
before I was over last
And
fall.
she just left them up there at the courthouse with somebody and they wrote a
All
note.
right. Well, I appreciate that.
This was the write-up of Will and Archie Young's wedding anniversary party on Main Street. And one of the main things to talk about is it was ablaze with electric lights, so obviously that was unique. And one of the main people whose name is having won a prize from the cake was Will Young's second wife. But at the time, she was still Nell Miller. Of course, those names meant nothing to me until, later
Yeah.
on.
Now, Nell, yeah,
Talk
she
about
died.
electric lights, you've always heard the one about Dad and Judge Alley, haven't you, when they went to Louisville to, of course, they're down in Louisville a lot, but Judge Alley had a suite of rooms in the old Sealback. They maintained for him 365 days a year. He just, any time Judge went down there, his suite was there. They would never rented it to anybody else. It may lay vacant for 2 or 3 months at a time, then he'd go down and they'd handed him the key. And of course, he was very, very, well, he was the strongest man in the United States Senate. Camden for years, I guess Jane still got it, showed Sampson, Governor Sampson was in the chair, and Allie Young had the shears was cutting his hair. They said Allie told him every move he made. Flem Sampson wasn't governor, Allie Young was the governor.
That's what Miss Wheeler said.
Yeah, and he wouldn't go to the party that he didn't ask Judge Young, how to do. And this cartoonist Platsky, Plascke, drew that picture of Jane for a long time, has a copy of it, the original frame. They finally give it to Judge, the cartoonist did out of the Courier Journal, but I don't know if she still got it. I'm sure she has, but she was hanging on, I haven't hanging on the wall. I've been in Jane's house 35 years. Well, I don't guess I've been to her house since she moved over where she lived.
This is funny. Refreshments were served in the large dining room to married
tutti frutti ice cream.
And then, but anyway, Judge Alley and Dad were down to Sealback, and it was about the time that electric lights came in. I don't know what year it was, but back in the early 1900s. And of course, they went into the room. The bellboy just flipped the light on, you know, the damn wall switch. They went on in the room, set their laid down. Anyway, they bombed around, whatever they did, got ready to go to bed. And of course, they'd never been around electricity. They didn't know, and they looked all around. They didn't have sense enough to screw the bulb out. They didn't know that much about it. But they couldn't find out where the damn switch was. Of course, that bellboy just reached in the door as they went in, flipped it. They had no idea, looking over on the wall. And they said, well, what did you do? They finally told on themselves. Well, in those days, everything had a big, long extension. They'd pull that cord up 3 or 4 loops and tie it, you know, and just hanging naked bulb was what they had. And they untied that thing finally and run it down and put it in the damn dresser drawer and shut the dresser on it till they get some sleep that night. And they told it on themselves finally years later.
That.
But now that's the two big smart lawyers to know how to turn the goddamn light off.
And we're too smart for the britches to call
Yeah.
somebody to ask them either.
Oh, yeah, that didn't.
Then there wasn't another one they tell on Bill. You're talking about his big room when they built this old Tick Evans house, we call it, when he built that house down there. They haven't argued got mine. Of course, he bought it. They said the biggest damn piano that you could buy. He went down to Lexington someplace. Got one of these big goddamn baby grands or whatever contract.
It was in our living room for years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And they cut in, they bought it in down there, and he had them build the house around it. And they bought it in, by God, before they put the rafters up and struts, and they built the house around the damn thing. And whether he done it pre-arranged, but see, Bill Young had a reputation he wouldn't pay for a damn thing.
Now,
I mean,
this says here Etta Proctor. Now, that was Mrs. Cole.
Yeah.
And
You'll find a lot of familiar names in that write-up about that
And
party.
Mrs. Cora Stewart Wilson.
That's it.
Well,
One started the old
Stewart,
midnight
or
school,
Stewart.
school. See, at one time, she was stenographer to Dad and Judge Young. She was a court worked in their office. She was a secretary, or what you call them. But anyway, he built this house, and of course, this is the first damn payment come due on his piano. He didn't make the son of a bitch. And they come up going to repossess it, and Bill told him, he said, under the constructive theory that Kentucky has, institutional theory, you can't destroy the premises to remove some of it. You can't take an integral part of the building. You can't tear it. They had to tear a wall out to get it. Wouldn't go out the doors, of course. And by God, he had it. He said, now by God, you do it. And he said, I'll sue you. He said, you touched one damn board on that. And he never did pay for that son of a bitch.
Clever crook.
Oh, they tell some wild ones on it.
Miss Weaver said that he kept the note down at the bank and just kept coming down and renewing it.
Well, he went to Louisville. He went to Huntington one night. They called him. Said they had a big poker game going, one of the big hotels up there. And he went up there and took him $3,000 or $4,000, and he lost it. And he had a big diamond ring. And anyway, he pledged it for a couple of $1,000, and he lost that. So he come on back, and he got back to Morehead, and 2 or 3 days later, why, he called up there, and he said, send my ring down here, I'll send you the money. And they said, they'd kind of heard about him, and they said, nope, said, you send the money, and we'll send the ring. And he said, well, we got and we're down to the depot in those days.
In Western Union?
Freight, what do you call it? You used to send everything. It wasn't in connection with the depot, but it was down, what did they call it? Some kind of van where they ship stuff all the time by.
Express?
Yeah, Railway Express. And they said, we got a Railway Express office here. And said, ship it down, Railway Express, collect. And they said, in other words, I can't get it out till I put the money up. So they wrapped the ring all up, packaged it, put $2,000 Express collect, and sent it down here. Well, they called Judge Bill at the courthouse and said, your package down here for you, collect $2,000. And of course, he knew immediately what it was, and he gets out a big order of claim and delivery, saying the ring had been wrongfully taken for him in a gambling debt, and wrongfully withheld, and he had the sheriff come down and possess his ring, bring it back up and give it to him. So he beat him out with $2,000 anyway.
All right, go through this way.
I'm beginning to understand money a little better.
Yeah,
Be
oh,
careful,
yeah, but he owed everybody they said to come, he wouldn't pay a damn thing, he would have money and then he'd be utterly broke the next day.
Here,
And
get up here.
someplace Dad said he went one time, that might have been up at Jackson. And anyway, said he went up there and defended these people. It seemed to me like he'd gotten some damn case down in Texas some way. Arkansas.
There was
down.
one down out in California.
Well, he got in way away from here. And how he got mixed up in it, it was somebody from here. I don't remember the detail. But anyway, he said in them days he got a hell of a fee, which was, I'm talking about $1,500 or $2,000, which in those days was considered a hell of a fee.
Yeah.
And anyway, Dad said they looked up one morning and here he come in with something and everything, and he had caught a freight train. He'd finally back out of Hobo back home. He'd got down around Lexington or Louisville, throwed all his money and got on a big drunk and was broke. And by God, come riding a damn boxcar in, caught a freight train home. And Dad said he come in scurvy, he goddamn needed a damn bath and all, and didn't have a damn nickel, starved to death about 3 or 4 months. They said that wasn't unusual for him to do that all the time.
I was just,
That he'd go out someplace and get
Tom
on
said
a
he
big
was
drunk
gonna
and
take
come in.
this, have it
Ernest,
laminated, but
Ernest Lewis was up
Yeah.
there, like I say, the day before yesterday. And he said that, Mr. Young used to come up there
couldn't get,
and
this
go up
is
to
when
his,
Jimmy was
little
born.
mountain home there. I guess he came up there to drink. And,
Is it telegram?
she said that
Mhm.
her grandmother, would run him off when he started drinking too much. And, said he'd come up there and he'd just throw money.
Yeah.
At kids. Said,
Yeah,
all-
he'd be rich one day and poor as Joe
I
Turkey
guess
the next.
this
At
was
the top.
the gold share,
Yeah.
but he said he was gonna take it and have it.
Well, they courted 3 years. No, that's what the ideal is.
Well, anyway, it's the telegram they sent him, and on the back of it is where Jimmy's dad wrote sent back to.
Killing a goose and see
Uh-huh.
See, Mom got up to get Dad's hunting gear down.
Somebody sent this to Jimmy.
He and Dr. Nickel were going down in Louisiana, duck hunting.
How that goes.
And they stayed down there to Ruby Tackett's uncle in them days. He used to live here and he had moved to Louisiana. And they'd go down there and stay with him out in the swamps and hunt duck. And Mom was only 7 months pregnant, and Dad and Doc Nickel had decided to go hunting.
But it just, the woman
And
said
she was up
to
in the
me,
closet getting these hunting clothes down because it wasn't hunting season yet and they stored away. And when she stepped off the chair, she said she wrenched her back and pain shot up through her back, but she didn't say anything because she knew if she did, Dad wouldn't go. And so she went ahead and got his stuff down and all that, and they took off on this damn goose hunt, duck hunt. And second, third day they was gone.
but he said he was gonna take it.
She went into labor and had me, and so they sent Dad this telegram telling him I was born.
Keep it.
And years ago, I was electioneering, I was down at Ruby Tackett's, and Ruby said, I bet I've got something you'd like to have. And her uncle had kept that down in Louisiana, and Ruby went in the machine drawer and got it out and gave it to me. And then on the back, Dad had been hunting this morning, killed a fine 12-pound goose, something said, be home immediately, or whatever he said on the back. He turned it over and wrote to the fly for the boy to bring back to the West Virginia, there in Louisiana, and my wife sent it back to me.
Says, good, hope you are doing nicely. Get Mrs. Whit, that'd be a lot of person, kill wild goose today. Notify if needed.
Yeah.
My 2 daughters had someone send them that telegram when they had kids, would have killed them. They would have gotten out of the bed, found them, and killed them.
Well, I had my son off first 2 years, first 2 children, for his anniversaries. I had him off down in Louisiana fishing. When one of the children born, I had him off down there, and I had him off on one of his wedding anniversaries.
Oh, you've had them off
Oh,
on all, I had
they
them
thought
off
that was
on.
awful because
I
we
mean,
go
it's
off
called
fishing.
divorces.
Hell, we done all we could do. There wasn't no use being here for the.
Yeah, as the guy said, I did my work earlier, now it's your
That's
turn.
Said the boy wanted off in the Navy to go home. They said, why? Said, his wife's having a baby. Said, old Admiral said, honey, said, you had to be there for the laying of the keel. Said, you had to be there for the launching.
You
I didn't know that was in that bad a shape. It was together like that.
Well, it just, it was
Well, all it
folded.
takes is for somebody to handle it a couple of times and that's it.
It was
Yeah.
folded and,
But
Yeah.
you need to mend it. Have you seen that, tape that you buy that won't stick permanently to it and it's see-through? It's called magic tape.
Yeah, we've got, I think we've got some of it.
Yeah,
And
I
that
saw
way you can
some.
put it in a plastic and you can see both sides of it because you won't see both sides
I'll
of it.
go down there and look.
Well, here,
Jimmy had every kind of tape in the world when he moved his office.
You got one.
State give it to me. I just go through that book like a big serial book and order. I'd see something I hadn't seen before, sticky on both sides.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's one of my favorites at Christmas because you can wrap gifts and never show the tape. Like sticky on both sides.
when did, your mom and dad marry?
I haven't got the foggiest idea where you from.
Let's go with
Oh, let's see. Jimmy was born in 1920.
I can't remember, when did,
19 and 19, I believe. We've been married right around a year,
I don't even know.
I feel sure.
I had put down about 1918, so you.
Well, it would have been the latter part of,
18 or early part of 19.
Something that I don't understand is that they're talking about Anna Knapp Clay dying in Battle Creek, Michigan sanitarium.
That's what she was, I guess.
Well,
She had TB?
I don't understand because I understood she died in childbirth. So
No,
I
no,
understand that's not true.
she had the baby and never did recover her strength. She had the baby, but the baby was a great big thing when she died.
14 months old.
Yeah. And she died a while before that, but the baby, but she just was, I guess, consumptive and never did get
Yeah,
her
the
strength.
sanitarium usually means TV.
But,
TV, yeah.
but I don't know, I don't
She had a
recall.
lot
I
of-
remember the write-up said she died in Battle Creek.
Michigan.
And I'd say that's where she was, but I don't
On the
recall.
22nd unit. After undergoing an operation.
It's probably she hemorrhaged and they went in to, you know,
Could have.
stop the hemorrhage.
But what I like is the
Of course,
description.
Battle Creek, Michigan, you know, that back in the old days, that used to be a big health thing up there in the hospital, kind of like Mayo's. Everybody did go to Battle Creek. Or that's when that all the cereal got started up there. They started that damn cereal in the hospital up there, giving them that.
That's right, yeah.
And that's where it all got
I didn't know
started.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
The nutrition.
health, nutritional
Yeah.
thing, and that's where all that damn Battle Creek, that's where all that damn, Polish brand,
Kellogg's
right,
or
comes out of there, yeah.
Kellogg or something.
I didn't even know how Clearfield got
Kellogg's,
its name
yeah.
either.
And now they make Mutant Ninja Turtle cereal for
Yeah.
good health.
Jesus.
Look at this. It says Mr. Clay left the Carter Circuit Court in September for her
That's what was,
bedside
he had to leave.
and was with her when the final summons came. How's that for good
Yeah, oh,
people?
that's right.
And the spirit was released from its earthly tenement and embarked upon that great unknown sea upon whose waters the image of a returning sail has never yet been seen.
That's
They must
sending
have
you off,
charged
boy.
by the period. Yeah, that must have
Yeah,
charged.
it's a-
We had this thing here the other day, you probably, well, your mom and Peggy both read, but I was, the college professor killed himself and his wife up here.
Yeah.
Right on up the street, a few houses.
All right.
This other college professor, he's kind of funny, I like to talk to him, but he's real sincere, and you got to know him. He said that they'd been on this weekend together over in North Carolina, and they came home, and he killed her and then killed himself. They went in the apartment and found him. They found out he was leaving these suicide notes around. He went down and cut his mail off and left, closed his bank account out, stopped the new, oh, he's well planned. And I think everybody knew it but her, and then he just walked up, put the gun back of her head, killed her, and then killed himself. But she had stayed on in some university in Illinois and taught when he got appointed down here, and I think they had met the conclusion where she had just said what she wanted to divorce. She started living like it. And, but anyway, this college professor lives there in the State University owned property next to it. Boy, told me the other day, just censor. He said, gee, said, I wish you'd have done that up in North Carolina instead of waiting to come back into it right there. But he got on with this Keith Capus, another friend of mine. Keith writes for the Associated Press, and he's a big to-do up at school and on the staff. And he wrote something. I said, I've been laying off to see that son of a bitch. You know, Flowery, he said, violence is alien to the what did he say, the college community or the university community. Says, and I thought, Jesus Christ, they have Morehead knocking and raping and hanging around up there in that place in town. And he said, yeah, I said, I'm waiting till I'll see him. I want to quote that to him. Yeah, you got no big old Keith, no, but he wrote it all up elegant and said, oh, he said, violence is alien in that.
What was alien was how well it was playing.
Yeah.
That's what's alien. Wasn't done so.
He did. He decided he'd go kill her and himself both. I think. But they said sitting on the bed in her bedclothes, and he just evidently walked over and put the gun in the back of her head, blowed her, shot her twice in the back, and then he turned the gun on himself. But they thought it was a pact at first, and the more they got to looking into it, hell, she didn't know nothing about it. Wasn't no pact on her part. He just didn't let her know. And she'd come down. She'd taken us. She'd down on what
Sabbatical, wasn't
Memorial, huh?
you? You're on sabbatical leave.
Yeah, she'd on sabbatical. She'd come down but I know she'd taken leave to be down here, and I think it was they'd had a week off on the spring break.
Spring break,
And he'd been over to.
They said he was a little strange to start out with.
Well, I think that's a foregone conclusion. We're not talking about straight stick here.
But he'd gone down.
The organization part of their changes something.
They asked him if he wanted to leave a forwarding address, and he said, well, just forward all the mail to his parents in Michigan or wherever it was he lived, and up east. And he had 2 daughters by a previous marriage up there. And he stopped the paper boy, said, don't bring the paper after Saturday night.
And then they hadn't got a paper, and she called the paper boy.
She called the paper boy and eat his ass out for not delivering the paper. Little to know that he'd done.
Well, maybe he got a little delayed. Maybe his gun was rusty or something.
No, he just had gone and bought it. While he was out
He
that
went downtown
morning.
he went downtown the day before
That morning.
10 something bought the gun.
What kind of gun did he do?
He got him a 38 Smith & Wesson. No. Police detective special. Got him box ammunition.
Well, that's something. We're sitting on an arsenal here. You fellas are and don't know it. I mean, there is a darn arsenal in this house.
Brought it back in the Second World War, I guess.
Did you really? You bring back a
I got
lot?
some. No, I got them out of court, most of them.
Right.
Take
Bob,
away them drunks.
347.
Murder, I've got guns in there that's using
The
everything in the world. Rapes,
Tom,
murders, concealed deadly weapons.
Guns.
John bought him a German one the other day, a Glock.
I don't like guns.
Oh, I despise them. I despise
I
them.
hunted for years, but I never liked guns.
I'll get some of that tape.
Talk about that
So
King
you got
Ranch the other day. That guy was here back several years ago with the pipeline. And I did something one day, and I'd gone out and gigged a bunch of frogs, bullfrogs one night. And he said something, he said, how do you gig them? I said, well, you take a carbide light out. And he said, what's a carbide light? And I come up to the house and got one, showed him, and put the dry carbide in. Oh, he said, I said, them fine stuff in the world. Said, we out there on that King Ranch and poached deer. He said, I'd sure love to have one there. And I said, well, take the damn thing. He said, I'll send you some good beef jerky. Hell, I ain't never heard from him. That's been 20 years ago.
Shot. That was
Bill, that's that one.
I saw it.
He never seen a carbide light.
Those things could be dangerous too.
Yeah, they blow up on
Shoot
you.
things, I'm gonna be damn good at it.
They would be dangerous.
William Earl, would you believe in World War II, I got on the Atlantic coastline.
Because everybody's out killing bucks.
Marine Corps was sending us someplace, I forget, from Quantico down to Paris Island, someplace else.
And
We got one of them old wooden coaches they talk about that's been outlawed because if they wreck, they splinter. That looked like a Boston whaler, just towards a wood strips runs up and down. That's what the whole passenger coach was built out of, of course, metal. But that wooden strips. And you go in the restroom and there's this great big damn copper contraption. And at dark, the conductor would go in there and throw a bucket or two of water in that, and it was charged with carbide,
Oh,
and all the lights in the coach come on, and he come through with his little lighter and lit them. You had acetylene light in your damn carbide acetylene, they call it, in your damn light in your coaches. Now, I rode one of them, they got about mothballs, and used them as rolling stock in World War II. The guy told me, they said, you're crazy with the heat. Said, it was against the law to have them wooden coaches. I said, man, I rode them on the Atlantic coastline.
You're liable to get yourself blown away.
Well, you'd go back to that crapper, and you'd sit there and you'd looking like that big copper boiler, and about that big around, you wondered what the hell was. It was a water tank.
Tom deer hunt.
And then somebody told me, and that night when he come by, we was on it for 8 or 10 hours.
Well, I
He
don't do
come
it
by and just
anymore.
light at
I
night,
did it
that
while I
little
was.
thing, you lifted
Yeah.
the globe, let it down, it was hinged, and you stuck the other end, had a little taper candle, and he put it up there, and had the gasoline, the mantle, like a gasoline
Yeah,
lamp.
that's what,
And
So we fed them corn and
lit, and
grain.
he slammed the damn lid back
You know,
up,
slung it.
and I got you had acetylene light in your
And I'd
your
sit there and
railroad
kill
car.
the dollars that
What,
came
they
in.
take you to the West
And I
Coast?
never dressed them.
No, we wasn't going that far then, we was
did.
going, from maybe north, well, I think that's when we took it from Paris Island to, up to North Carolina, took it from South Carolina to North Carolina. It was a 8 or 10 hour trip. No, West Coast, they put it on.
Left
They
ever
put it on
again.
something.
I like to go sit in the
Took
plane
us
and
from wire
watch
to New Orleans, and New Orleans, and we went to Long
real
Island.
interesting.
Hell, we was
just
going, we was on
watch.
that damn train
And
for
then
4
my
days,
girls
getting up to
and
I
California.
would say, yeah.
They had another route that sent you through
Got 3
Chicago
girls,
and
2
down.
boys.
Wasn't as long, but they sent us down, hell, we went to Atlanta to New Orleans,
So I knew.
New Orleans to some
I had
Curry,
people
New
ask me
Mexico,
all
and
the last few years,
hell, I
but
took them
go,
Curry or whatever it is.
I said, no.
Went all over the damn
Walked
country
away
right
from
now.
that, never wanted it again.
I avoided
was
the
the,
train
uh,
4 days and 4 nights and 5 days.
You talking about,
I
Your
think I
dad.
get that stuck together pretty quick.
some of
Yeah,
the
I
cases he,
will.
had Jim Clay
This
in,
was, the write-up in
Lexington,
the local paper when my
talks about
father-
when he was, I guess, getting his, degree, well, he read some cases that,
Now, he had a
Dad
lot
had,
of friends, but he was no representative.
defended the guy.
Yeah.
And one of them was the guy that, up here at Rodburn.
Methodist.
Put his wife on the railroad, his girlfriend on the railroad track.
No, this guy had evidently was drunk and passed out on the railroad tracks and the train ran over him. And, his widow or somebody,
Yeah, they had a whole bunch of them got killed on that crossing.
and Dad helped her sue the railroad for
He thought nothing
I don't know
of
what
him in line.
the, you know,
You can't get away
charge
with
was.
it anymore, you know?
but, and won the case.
But he
Yeah.
was
the-
good.
And then got the railroad bill,
Yeah,
I don't know much.
he was,
And then it was reversed when it got to the, Court of Appeals, yeah. And, but Jim said, Jimmy Clay said, he said, there is no way that he could lose a case in Eastern Kentucky. He said, that was crazy.
So what was he doing suing the railroad? I thought he was a railroad attorney.
He hadn't been all the time, that's the first
This
time.
must've been before
Yeah,
he, yeah, and the railroad probably got him after that.
yeah.
Probably took him on, as, counsel.
He was special counsel for CNO here, oh, hell. He had that, and he had Haldeman, and he had Lee Clay, well, a young firm had it. And then when when they all split up, Lee Clay and Haldeman, told them they went out of business, stayed with him. He was in Lee Clay. I think it said, railroad sent him $35, $40 every month, and passes for he and his wife had an annual pass, and any of his dependents he could write and get trip passes for. Rode railroad free.
Yeah, cause he.
See, that's when my mother rode with him free. And that's
Ben,
like
Judge
that.
Allie Young would have, but hell, then when they made all that big cut up at Haldeman, he had to abstract all that land. See, there used to be a tunnel through there. It kept falling in, they finally decided they'd make a big open cut out of it.
At Holderman?
Huh?
At Holderman?
Yeah, see, that used to be a tunnel. You know that big open cut where the railroad runs through there, a mile and a half, 2 miles? That used to be a tunnel back when I was a little boy. It's a closed tunnel, but they'd have to stop the train every once in a while, big rock would fall off the roof back in there. And so they just finally CNO
Especially
come
when
in,
we're rattling at the
and they
train.
just
rock.
cut the whole damn thing, made a big open cut out of it. Cut the roof of it off.
I can't remember going toward Ashland that often. I remember going.
Well, we always went to Lexington, all of us. We never
Yeah.
did
This
go
is a
there.
different kind of.
I bet you other than I started practicing law, went to Lexington 5 times in my life. We just never thought of going to Lexington or Louisville.
Like this.
Or Elizabeth lived in
We had a big
Louisville.
box of them, you know. where
Well,
it's
and,
not so
Dad
expensive,
Yeah.
but I
Went
sure
that way to
enjoy
Hot
having
Springs.
And then this is obviously
Cause,
right
went down there and then
my
I guess went
grandmother
to Memphis.
died, and
across.
she was killed in,
I don't remember how well, I've gone time too. On
Tyler.
truck, he'd go down there and I'd say, I'd
You
like,
have to
you
pull
know,
it out to see it.
they would come down on, you know, the weekend or something, spend maybe 3 days or 4 days with me. Dick could go with him sometimes, take a full course, but he'd stay about a month when he'd go take that course of dice. And he went every year. As soon as the May term of court was over, he took out.
Well, he liked to be down there too, where he could see the actual results of the horses.
Well, the horses running there, see, this just had to be coincidental. They ran.
Yeah,
The
right.
court and the horses ran.
Well, I've seen them bookie joints with him down there.
Well,
I guess-
Scorch Mutters down here.
Huh?
Remember Scorch
Oh,
Mutters?
yeah, they played horses
Did you
all
say
the time.
this was your mother?
My grandmother.
Grandmother.
They'd go into him and Cecil Fraley. Cecil sent it on the wire for him. Cecil was a big
My
better
grandmother
with them,
was
and they always sent it
Jim
to Western
Clay's
Union
brother.
when it was illegal.
Sister.
They'd code it, send
She's
it
the
out.
only daughter. Dad's on like
Jack West,
six.
finally, when Western Union
sons
moved
and
up
one
in the
daughter.
Trail Hotel, Jack
And
West,
she's the
oh,
only
well,
daughter.
hell, he played it.
And when she married Will Young.
I know when he
she,
died, they called me and said that he had
Her father died.
Bill
She
Young,
talked to her
Jack
mother-in-law,
West called me and said
Jim
they would
Clay,
check down after
come to
some
Morehead.
I
That's
said,
how
well,
we
you have
got
to
here
go
in the
down
first
or
place.
something about that.
Came up here and
Because,
read law with Will
You know,
Young.
they had it out in
And that's how
Greenville,
he
and
got
I
up
said,
here
you
in the
have to
first
go
place.
to
And
the
he
state,
stayed, he
because they
lived
don't
with
do.
them in
But
their
I think
house
it's
on
a
Main
pretty
Street
good
for
little old
6
amount,
years.
$700 or
Now,
$800
what was her name?
that had come in that he had happened to hit and had won,
I've heard Jimmy
which was
talk
rather
about it.
unusual.
Yeah, yeah.
So when he first came to
I don't
Morehead,
think,
he was
Chinky Howard used to be a
grandparents. Did 6
book
years.
at Mount Vernon. Dad called him, hell, I'll be down, he'd pick up phone calls. Chinky, how we stand? Chinky'd say, well, Jim, you owe me $300 or $400, or I owe you 65 or 70. And Dad'd say, well, here's what I want today. I don't think they ever did send each other any money. It was always just back and forth.
He probably bounced the ledger a couple
Yeah,
times a year. Do you know exactly where the train crossing was, or where Brighton Crossing is on the CNL
Yeah,
Road?
yeah, I can take you right there. You have to go back through Ewing. In those days, US 60 was under repair. And you go down to Owensville and cut off and go out there at East Step and Ewing and
Oh my goodness.
back through that road, and it's a first crossing before you get to Winchester coming east. And there's a little, they call it Stepstone and Ewing. They just cross things on there. They got a little old, used to have a little old flag station out. It's back in that country, yeah.
Right across.
That's what it says in the plan. That's one of the ones that I enlarged.
But it's,
That wasn't,
Right and cross.
it wasn't 60
so
at all.
it's between,
Yeah.
between Mount Journey and Winchester, yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
See, one of the clippings says
6 miles from Lexington. So it'll be I know it's the first crossing back in there before you get to Winchester coming this way. We used to have to travel it when I was a kid, and they were building 60. It was a detour through there. You got off the road at Owensville, and you went all the way around East Stepping Stone, Preston, all the way out through that country. But you got to get out and travel that old railroad bridge. And the road's
That's where they were killed.
Yeah, the road's still oh, it's a little, I guess, 2-lane macadam now, but.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's not where we thought.
No, where I was thinking was, like I say, it's going up a hill and the crossing was on the left. And,
But we were on 60.
yeah,
Jim said 60 was, you detoured off 60.
Squire Williams, Attorney S.N. Williams, Judge Harlan Sexton, Dr. J.M. Cash, and Mr. Kurt Peratt were on their way to Lexington on business, and Judge Young and Attorney Elijah Hogg of Morehead, who was attending court at Frenchburg, were invited to ride as far as Mount Sterling with them. Upon their arrival, however, Mr. Hogg got out of the machine.
Probably the smartest move he ever made.
that's Lodge's Rose.
I'd say they all was drinking, and Lige got out on them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
this
we have
road-
heard that story.
Yeah, yeah.
Was
This road been
Lige-
pretty full.
Elijah's grandfather.
Well, hell, when they got hit, you can see the track as straight as a string from But the road just runs up and just comes across. I mean, you know, it's no
I
sudden.
believe it was, wasn't it?
Huh?
It was Lige's grandfather.
No, this was old Lige. No, he wasn't no kin to Lige. He was Bolly Hogg and them. They lived down there.
Okay.
But
Oh, okay.
They just named